I am B.V. Subbarao. By academic background, I am an applied geologist with aerial photo interpretation specialization from University of Roorkee and then IIT Bombay. I served Central Groundwater Board, Government of India for very short period and then moved on to pursue my career as an independent professional, working with national and international development agencies. My work began at the tribal communities of Central India, Gonds, started understanding the water management through a tribal perspectives. That made me a lot of challenges that looking into the traditional knowledges and why we are not able to integrate the traditional knowledge in the contemporary technologies and management practices. I moved on working with the rural, particularly in the drought prone areas, working on the minor irrigation systems. I started working and took as a challenge water, a natural resource, how it is connected in different sectors by different sections of the society. Be it tribal, farmers in the dryland areas, farmers in the coastal areas, and the towns and urbanites, how they look into the water. I started my career working as hydrogeologist in the central part of India, largely in the Mahanadi River basin and associated in the terrains where the Gond tribe lives. It gave me an immense understanding on how tribals view the resource, water, and their emotional and physical need connectivity with this water. That also gave me a lot of challenges in taking these human-water relationship in different sectors, and I moved on to agriculture, drought and dryland areas, particularly working with the farmers' participation in conservation of the water bodies, and then moved on to started looking somewhere in 89 and all. I was looking into for a very brief period started looking into the urbanites, how urbanites and town people, their perspective is. But getting back to the rural areas, I focused mostly on the rural connectivity in the surface water and groundwater, how farmers. The challenge is, can water unite the people? Because we see a lot of conflicts around the water and the communities fight for the water. Can we bring this philosophy to connect the people and also promote the spirit of conservation, a collective oneness towards the water resource? This, in fact, I had this motivation and inspiration from late Sri Krishnakant ji when he was the governor of Andhra Pradesh. We were talking on water issues. So we were talking on mostly conflicts and what mechanisms can be promoted in bringing the people together for water. Then that made me to look into the issues in the urban areas. Urban areas, it's totally a different scenario. People do not bother what is the source of water. They only bother if the tap giving them the water or not. Be it Godavari, be it Krishna, or be it directly from Himalayas, they are not bothered about the sources. So that is the beginning of the breaking of human relationship with the water. People started forgetting about it. They started losing their responsibility towards conservation of the water resources. And late in 96 and 98, I had the opportunity of looking into the water conservation, water management practices in 6 industrial estates of Hyderabad, which includes the most notorious, pharma chemical polluting industries sites like Patancheru, Pasha Mailaram, GD Metla, and then you have the Nacharam. So these are the industrial areas where a lot of entire groundwater got polluted, and the things were moving through the legal system. And interestingly, the environmental activism here brought a lot of proactivism. It turned. Because of this resistance from the citizens, today we see a lot of water treatment plants in these industrial estates. Otherwise, government would not have responded to it. So, who makes the system to realize the responsibility of water protection, conservation, and judicious use? Water is not available. Even today, 45% of the population do not have access to safe drinking water and environmentally safe sanitation in this entire world. Then someone else is enjoying the tub bath. So what is the difference? These are all the issues before us. I also had the opportunity participating in the beginning of the environmental movement at the global level. I was a volunteer in the Earth Summit, and then I also participated in the Earth Summit, World Summit 1992, and World Ministerial Conference in 1994 on water and drinking water and safe sanitation. So that gave me a lot of eye-opening on how the grassroots issues are seen, viewed, and taken decisions at the global level. And also it gave me some kind of an understanding of how the corporate sector looks these things as an business opportunities. Today, the problem is there. Water problem is there everywhere. At the same time, simultaneously, millions of dollars the corporate sector is making selling the mineral water bottle. And the question is this mineral water really has some minerals in it? Nobody knows it. It's a sterile water. That may be the reason today people are taking too much of vitamins right from the age of 20s, getting knee pains and all kinds of joint pains. So we need to look into it. Water is not just unfortunately it has been reduced as a raw material. It's a natural resource. It is the lifeline. The rivers are the lifelines. The lakes are the connective bondage between the lifelines, the small stream to the bigger rivers. What are we doing about it? Are we thinking anything of the lakes? Let us look into our own Hyderabad. Hyderabad has a very rich water management tradition. And it is part of the southern India's water management practice, but it moved a bit ahead of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, particularly Hyderabad. I tell you, not only just the water management and cascade systems, once the one lake at the higher up fills up, the surplus goes to the next one in the downstream. So even in Hyderabad, you have several such subsystems. It's not that we have only one system which feeds to the Musi. We have Hussain Sagar system, Miralamti system, and then smaller linkages from the Secunderabad side, like northeast Secunderabad. You have right from Maulali to Nallacheru at Uppal. So people, they never bother to understand the water management system, the drainage system developed by erstwhile rulers. Sometimes I feel we get bogged down because of our own narrow mindset. You see, we should look into what anyone, any culture, any society, any religion gives you the best. Take the best out of it. Hyderabad not only has the more than 4,000 lakes in and around today in HMDA zone, and only 42 lakes are being notified by the revenue department. That shows the negligence, ignorance of the government. All these lakes, for instance, 2009 I went and studied Shamshabad Lake, which is on way to International Airport. The lake is called Kamuni Lake. Till 2009 and 2010, this lake was the drinking water source for the Shamshabad village. Why could not we develop a modern technology to sustain that resource? And everybody wants, they neglected it, government also neglected it, and now everybody wants, the Kaleshwaram water should come to Shamshabad. How much money it will cost? It will cost more than 70 rupees per liter to supply water to the Shamshabad. You had a source at the institute level. We have just forgotten about the knowledge on the water management system, and I am proud that I am part of this end of the country. This city has flood water diversion channels from lakes to lakes. Nobody bothered to read this. We had a flood surplus water diversion from Durgam Cheru to the downstream to the Golconda, and we had the longest flood diversion channel from Chandan Valley to Ibrahimpatam Lake. That is almost 1.8 kilometers length. People fought for that. And my own friend Wahab and Professor Purushottam Reddy, Kodarkar, KL Vyas, all collectively they raised the voice. And today where is that flood surplus water diversion? It has been encroached, demolished, and that is the reason today the old city, this part of the city got fully flooded. Never in the history this part of the city was flooded. We don't care about these systems. We think we are the messiahs. We create all new kind of things. Hyderabad was always a global city in terms of its articraft. You take the polishing of the pearls, there is no sea, but we are masters in polishing the pearls. How come? Today we are talking of the skills of Hyderabadis. We have forgotten about studying into the drainage systems of it. And it was so designed, the Hyderabad was, the entire waters, we had cascade systems, starting from Jubilee Hills, that is the highest point, and from then it moves. And everybody thinks, it is only the Musi. Some of the, people who ignorant, who are not even part of a water management system, they talk water should be distributed all different sides of the city. And my dear friend, I tell you, Hyderabad not only is part of the Musi, Krishna river, but it is also part of Godavari basin. Many do not know, maybe 90% of the people do not know about it. The Godavari basin starts from Miapur circle to towards Bachupalli and beyond. All the waters that goes towards the left from Kajipalli industrial area, Bolaram industrial area, that goes to Manjira. That never joins the Krishna basin. Where is the knowledge of our people? The main question is, we are forgot to study our own surroundings. We forgot to study how our predecessors survived here and how they mastered the technologies of survival and development. Today we are butchering something and calling it development. Every year for a petty rain of 8 millimeters, we are spending 150 crores for road damage repairs. Is this the technology? Is this the development? Don't know. So it is time for us to look into how my city should be. This is our city. This is not city of someone who comes for 4 years or 5 years or goes away. This is the city of more than 80 lakhs people. So we have to think of how our city should be and how city should be governed and what are the resources the governance system looks into it. It has the responsibility. Why GHMC is deleted from drinking water supply? Everywhere it is the responsibility of the corporation. I am not talking about it. It is the constitution which tells about it. 74th Municipal Amendment. Look into it, read it. The kind of powers these local governing bodies have been given. Our first citizen, the mayor, where is he during these floods? I could see him in 2016 going around all the nalas just because he was the first time elected and show off him, and today he is not here because he is going away. People, we should look into these aspects of it. We should start respecting the first citizen of the city. Mayor is our first citizen. And what the corporators are doing. We look for ministers and MLAs and other people. No. It is the responsibility of 150 corporators. It is the responsibility of 150 civil society groups which were nominated at the GHMC. Where are they? Nobody is talking about it, about this city. And even after 10 days of rainfall, some of the areas are inundated, trunk deep, and it will suddenly lead to epidemics, mosquito breeding, all that. And that's a good business for some of the officers in GHMC to make money buying the mosquito fogging chemicals. We have to look into it. We have to redesign our city. Cities have undergone metamorphic change. They have butchered all the natural drainage systems. They have changed the slopes. We need to design for environment. How my city is, what is the climate of my city, how the water flows, from where water starts and where it goes, which rivers it joins. Are we aware of it? Is it part of our school education curriculum? Every school claims, CBSE, we are teaching about environment. Teach about the environment of your local situations. This city is blessed with one lake for 3.5 square kilometers. Nowhere in the country we have. It had one lake for 2 square kilometers earlier. Unfortunately, during the 1990s, and after the first case filed by Professor K.L. Vyas to protect the lake in 96, government cleverly announced that the lakes below 10 acres cannot be protected and they may be private properties. Who declares all these things? You know what is 10 acres lake stores water? It's almost 4 lakh cubic meters. We are not looking into it. What is the total loss of rainwater storage in the lakes? Do we know? Why this surplus flooding is happening? Is there any estimation on it? No. Every time the only thing is the people rush and say you find the media and the elected people, officers around a nala making hue and cry. It's not that. Sit down and do your homework. Do it. What is the total loss of storage capacity? What is the additional surplus flood increasing? And what is the heat generated by these skyscrapers? Why we are receiving high intensity, short duration rainfalls? It's happening since 2000 and also before that. 2000 it happened 275 millimeters in 10 hours. And earlier to that in Mumbai it happened 900 millimeters overnight. Can the water infrastructure take this excess load? No. Was there any debate among government inviting the universities and other civil society experts to discuss on this. Cities are not, Dumbo places. Just around Malkajgiri and Safilguda, I could find 300 retired engineers. They can give us a rich experience of their knowledge and practice. We need not suffer in the hands of illiterate contractors who just keep bribing the officers and the politicians. This city is blessed with academic institutions. This city is blessed with a lot of technical know. We export not less than 5,000 engineers from Hyderabad to USA. Are we not proud of it? And this city has 14 national level research institutions. Then why this status? Why this pathetic status of our city? It is time for the people to think of it. It's time for the people to respond and start participating in the municipal development. This is our city. Let's come together. Let us debate on this. The problems are not universal or uniform across the city. The problems are different. Let's come together and discuss. Okay, the people who live in Jubilee Hills and Madhapur, affluent people, they may manage with the system. But it's the middle class people, lower middle class people and the poor who have to come together and start asking our questions. We need to get clarified on this. Every year this year I think more than a lakh of four-wheelers, they got damaged. Who is going to pay for it? Insurance is not paying, government is not paying. Then what kinds of roads? We have to look into it. Unless and until we think of our own, we realize of citizens' responsibility. You see, Constitution clearly tells what is the duty and the responsibility of a citizen. Yes, I have a duty to keep my surroundings cleanly. I have the duty to make my surroundings environment friendly. And at the same time, I have the responsibility, I have the duty to ask for, I have a right to ask for environment friendly living space. I have a right to ask for a protected drinking water, safe drinking water. I have a right to ask for senior citizens and the children for open green parks. What is the status of open green parks? It's horrible. It is we, the citizens, we are changing. Yadha Raja Tadha Praja Annaru. Yadha Raja Tadha Praja Kane Kadu. ప్రజాస్వామ్యంలో యథా ప్రజా తథా రాజా. మనం ఆలోచనలే మన పరిపాలకుల్లో ఆలోచనలు వస్తున్నాయి. మనం ఆలోచనలు మార్చుకోకపోతే మనం బాగుపడలేము, మన నగరాన్ని బాగుపరచలేము. ఇది చాలా ముఖ్యమైన అంశం. అది రాజ్యాంగపరంగా మనకిచ్చిన హక్కులు అవి. ఆ రాజ్యాంగపరంగా ఇచ్చిన హక్కుల్ని కూడా మనం మర్చిపోతూ ఉంటే ఎట్లా అవుతుంది? दिस सिटी इज़ ए कॉस्मोपॉलिटन सिटी. यहाँ तो हिंदी उर्दू सब कुछ बात करते हैं. तो हम लोग सब कुछ बात करते हैं, बड़े प्रेम से रहते हैं, मगर अपनी अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भूल जा रहे हैं. चलो मिलते हैं, हम सब मिलते हैं. तो दिस इज़ द टाइम, एक्चुअली आई एम जस्ट प्लेसिंग माई व्यूज़. You see, 100 years back we had 1908 very heavy floods, and the floods were limited to floodplain areas, on the either side of the river bank, and created a lot of loss of life. But the floods in 1908 and the floods in 2020 are different. The flooding pattern in city was changing last 20 years. The pattern is, we are not seeing any floods, surplus floods in the Musi, but we were seeing floods, decentralized floods all around the lakes in the cities. It was expanding. Wherever there is an encroachment, a fresh inundation has started. It started with Nadim Kalni, it started with Durgam Cheru, it started with Safil Guda, Ramkrishnapuram, one after the other, and Sarur Nagar. Okay. Then, but every time, irrespective of the party in the governance, everybody was saying, we are proud of link tanks, all that, and link tanks got disconnected. Then what is the role of HMDA? I am now coming to the role of the governance system, the 50%, the government. I just discussed on the duties and responsibilities of the citizens to make the system, the other system to realize it. HMDA, what is the responsibility of HMDA? It is Hyderabad Metro Development Authority. It has to focus on planning, give perfect planning to municipal corporation. It is not a competitive body to municipal corporation on restoration of the lakes, making of the layouts. No, it lost its bearing. HMDA never came out with a master plan showing the city hydraulic system, drainage system in the master plan. It always thinks it is the concrete structures and roads are their responsibility to build and make more, give more facilitation for generating the revenue. No, it is not. It has a comprehensive responsibility. 1996, the High Court verdict clearly told when Professor K.L. Vyas approached the court and asked for the list of the lakes, court asked him, you should have gone to the Huda at that time. He said, I went to Huda. Huda said, there is no list of lakes. Then, court asked the Huda, do you have the list of lakes? Please furnish. Huda said, no, it is not our business. Then, with a clear verdict, the court compelled the Huda to accept the responsibility of the lakes. It is the civil society's initiative that made the government to realize through a High Court verdict on the responsibility of the lakes. Even today, the officers are just don't bother about the responsibility of the lakes. They do not have any knowledge on how to integrate this in the urban planning. At the same time, it is also the situation with the open parks. We have to look and start looking into it. The heat wave is increasing. Every year, you see, I think from 2010, the heat wave, it started in April, February also it started, but staying for more than 15 days. The important issue is cities are vital cogs in state and national economy. We cannot make the cities sick. We have to make cities healthy, livable. You should make the people feel more energetic living in the cities. Today, cities have become the disease giving habitations. Why? Even during this flood, a lot of chemical waters discharged from the industrial areas inundated the colonies. Why we are not coming out with a master plan of Hyderabad a livable city? It is time for us to discuss, everybody. Please discuss at your colonies. Please discuss in your colleges. Wherever you have an informal group. How do we make our city a livable, healthy city? That is most important. What is our role as a citizen? What is our duty and responsibility as a citizen? 74th Amendment gave a lot of provisions. And unfortunately, you see, even under the, fortunately 74th Amendment asks the municipality and the panchayat to sit together and prepare a joint plan. Then why Bachupalli Hill County always suffers from a garbage dump yard in the adjoining municipality, and they feel all kinds of sulfur smell? That means Panchayat was never consulted by the GHMC officials in preparing a joint environmental report. and the citizens do not know about it. We are living as with a slave mentality. We think, we should have connections at the higher ups to do it. Constitution has given us the rights to ask, rights for a right for a healthy life, and right for work. So we need to think of these things. City has a lot of problems. How do we address these problems? We do not want to discuss at the collective, at the higher level. Let us talk about our own. Let us talk about our own watershed way. The watershed way from Maulali Lake to Nallacheru, all the 5 lakes which are connected, it's one hydraulic unit. You may be having 20 or 25 colonies in this Maulali to Nallacheru. Nallacheru, Pedacheru, Nacharam Cheru, Mallapur and Maulali. Please come together and discuss. And similarly, you have Mukkidi Cheru and Safilguda Cheru. Please join them. So we have to come together within the hydraulic units, not as just the residential colonies. Let us identify the colonies on hydraulic basis, watersheds. We have, it's not that we have, I'm just proposing this as a crazy thing. The Thailand government has categorized the administrative blocks on watershed basis, and USA has watershed districts. Our officers, when I talk to them on urban watersheds, they do not know about anything. It's an unfortunate thing. Let us come together, discuss at the local level and prepare our own agenda for the local level. What are the issues and what should be addressed? And let us take this collectively at the higher level and see how we can transform the sick Hyderabad to a livable city, a flood resilient city. Government of India came out with clear guidelines on urban flash flooding and managing that. And do we have the copy of anything of that sort? Even the government doesn't have. Please discuss these things among the residential welfare associations, colleges, academic institutions and students. And we also have what is called 2017 recent guidelines on how to manage the urban lakes. We have an wetland state committee, but I have not come across a single person who is functioning in that wetland state committee, and we have not conducted any such official meeting at the state or city level. This is an unfortunate thing. A city with 180 lakes in 660 square kilometers, almost coming to 1 lake for 3.5 square kilometers. The wetland authority does not sit and discuss on this, even after the floods. What is this? I am not questioning anybody. I am not interested in any political system. I am only interested in making a democratic process in a governance. Local governing bodies are very strong bodies as per the constitution is concerned. This is the third layer of the governance. The second layer of the governance is the state government, and the first layer of the governance is parliament. So anywhere in the world, people start with local governance system. So I humbly appeal every Hyderabadi, please think of our municipality, how we should go ahead with making our municipality a livable municipality. Let us make Hyderabad a livable city once again. Thank you so much.